Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to WCS North American Challenger. We are going to be going into our final series that I am crazy pumped up about. My name is Fear Dragon. I am joined by Rotterdam, and this is an NA match to behold.
This is a double date that we've been building up all night long. You know, we said it the first time they went on a little date with each other early this morning. I think they kind of both felt it, and there was definitely a spark.
Little connection.
There was a spark. There was a connection, and they were in the mood for more. We kind of thought that this was going to be the deciders match, and I think it's going to be fireworks, man. I really think that these two are going to be very evenly matched. I hope that not too many people think of Future as the Terran they saw in that first best of 3 early today, because he is so much better than the way that he played in those games against puCK, and I think we're about to witness that.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that this is going to be a good series. Not one player isn't just going to kind of bulldoze the conversation. That's never good to do on the dates and everything.
Definitely not on the first date.
No, you don't want to try and win the conversation in any of these situations. But as we were saying before in the previous series, there's a good chance that these guys may have been at least hiding at least some of their special plans that they had. So I really want to see what they're going to have in store for us. Future, I do think, is a little bit of a memer, but he's been preparing a lot for this match in particular. Like, specifically, he has just been practicing for not Terran versus Protoss, Terran versus puCK specifically, because puCK is not just a usual ordinary Protoss player. I cannot wait to see what he has in store for us.
That makes it hard as well, though, right? Like, obviously, preparing yourself is very important, but there aren't that many Protoss players out there that play like puCK. And first of all, the few that would try are probably not going to do the things that he does as well. You know, obviously, he's the original memer. He's the one who comes up with these builds. So somebody who's going to copy his builds, unless you're talking about like a super special Protoss talent out there, more often than not, they're going to do that a little bit worse. So hopefully this man is not too focused on only playing against weaker versions of his opponent, because he's going to have to do it with his own skill over here. On the left top side, we're looking at the main base of the red Terran player. It is Future.
Old Joe. And he's going to be facing off against this fellow down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, a Micromaster in the blue. He is Root Gaming's puCK. There's actually a shared Discord that these guys are in, and one of my favorite things that was posted in that Discord was Future was saying, like, yeah, I'm preparing for puCK, and he posts a screenshot of a folder that's completely empty, and the folder is labeled puCK playing standard for his preparation.
That's funny,
like, that's a good meme. That's a good meme.
Actually, I can get behind humor like that. That's good. So if you have to make some predictions in the first game, I do think that puCK is going to show us a little more of what he showed already this morning, guys, when it comes to opening up with Blink Stalkers, when it comes to the Zealot Immortal follow-up, and then eventually going into Storm and much later.
He was doing a lot of those kind of weird positionings, like taking his, putting his pylons behind his third base, going for these early wall-ups as natural, but then not actually taking it and throwing up extra gateways and stuff. So, I know, just to let you finish your thought and everything, but that was one thing that I want to keep an eye out for. See if he does again.
I mean, most Protoss players like to build their pylons in weird locations, right? Yeah. More often than not. And get something done. Let's see what Future... that's my Reaper. SCVs can jump up cliffs. Like, well, I've seen my big brother do it. No. You have to take the long way around. Is that a full wall-off? There must have been, right?
He did go for the Nexus behind this, and he's going to make an Adept. I guess this actually completely walls off the Reaper.
Yeah. No, there's actually no way into the main base. Look at that, a bunker, by the way, going up on the other side of the map for Future. That's kind of the last building that he truly needs.
Well, if you see a full wall-off, I think usually you're kind of just like, is there a proxy or something?
Of course, of course. You get a little bit concerned, you get a little bit worried. So the SCV doesn't have the binoculars, right? That would be able to see far enough to see that there was actually a Nexus being warped in. Let's take a look at Future's vision. No, he has no idea. Man, that SCV doesn't see anything. It's actually indeed a kind of a nice play here by puCK.
Yeah.
Even though he might not do anything too crazy off the back of this, if you're Future right now, there are 17 different dirty Protoss builds racing through your mind, and you don't know which one it is.
Yeah, and the Adept is going to get here right before the Command Center finishes up. This is an annoying kind of thing that a lot of Terran players have to deal with these days. He does actually still finish up the Command Center pretty quickly and saves that good old SCV, but the Adept also gets out alive. And puCK is, he's getting up a Warp Prism, he's getting up a couple of gateways, and are we going to see him go for some drop harassment pretty soon?
Yeah, I kind of wonder what this is about. 3 more gates. So it's 1 gate, fast expand, robotics facility, and then 3 more gateways. Not a super standard opener in this matchup, guys.
So I'm a little bit iffy on some of my puck history, but I watch a lot of his stream, and I feel like, man, I'm going to feel so silly if I get this. Oh, he's trying to jump over the wall. That's actually very cute there from Future. But I think I've seen puck go for like Stalker drops and also some of these Immortal drops in this matchup a lot lately. So I could be wrong. I might be misremembering.
Hey, that sentry is exposed, by the way. Oh no, that sentry actually popped out on the wrong side. Where's that Warp Prism? Can the Warp Prism save the day?
I mean, the Adept will come back. Because the sentry, unless the Reaper heals, I'm pretty sure still wins the fight, right?
Yeah, but the Reaper's...
Yeah.
And they've got grenades, Robbie.
You just need to eventually heal.
So maybe... I'm actually very confused. There goes the scan. The scan does not spot the gateways, but it does spot the robotics facility, and that's already a pretty big tell.
There's also Comet Shields before Stim, so we're going to see how prepared he is to deal with this Warp Prism as it comes moving on in. He's not going to be able to move around his own base super duper quickly and get in position if the Warp Prism comes to the natural. Then if all the units are in the main base, it's going to be hard to react.
There are 4 adepts as well that can indeed just strike into the back of the natural. This 1 siege tank is going to be very important, but if you drop the Immortal on top of the siege tank, or at least in range, it will go down very quickly. So the Marines kind of need to be there, but at the same time, they also need to defend.
Oh my god.
Tank. What is the other tank doing? The other tank's just chilling there.
It's not sieged up right now. Okay, that tank is gone. There's no way it's going to repair in time.
I think it was trapped.
Oh, by the missile turret. Yes. Okay, well, now we're going to end up seeing a lot of these units going down. The Adepts of the Natural Expansion also finished their shape. And guess what's exposed? Combat Shields. It's getting Focus Fire down. And with the Immortal Firepower, he is absolutely going to deny that. More Adepts are getting warped in to help deal with these SCVs. This is a lot of damage for Future to take. Can he at least pick off an Immortal or something here? Or is he just going to end up losing almost too many units to come back from?
Yeah, he lost 14 SCVs, but the worst thing indeed is that he lost the Combat Shield, and that obviously means that Combat Shield and Stim are going to be incredibly delayed. Future throws down another scan. That actually hurts quite a bit, because he already lost so many SCVs, and a lot of them are low on HP, Ravi. So puCK is not done yet. The Warp Prism does take a lot of damage, but hey, no Stim, no danger.
Oh, this is the Micromaster also. This is puCK. He is absolutely going to stick around and continue to harass that Warp Prism. He is going to play with fire a little bit. Oh, get some good damage done, but the Warp Prism will get out alive.
Yeah, 21 SCVs. RoboBay going down now. You know what I'd love to see now? Warp Prism Speed and a Disruptor. I think this is a perfect game for it, because it's very unlikely that Future is going to attack you anytime soon, because he took so much damage and he lost his tech lab as well on the barracks. So I think that this is a perfect game for a Disruptor and Warp Prism Speed, and we know that puCK loves to play around with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we never saw a Starport or anything, so it's not even going to be like a Viking he has to worry about that will at least chip away at it. Reaper will get taken out right there. So puCK re-seizing a bit of map control. He also has, I think, a proxy pylon in the bottom left. Yeah, so he has some a nice little warp-in potential option there, although Warp Prism itself also provides that. His puCK is going to open up his wall that does deep power. Wait.
Nothing.
Oh, there's a pylon right back. I felt very blind for a second trying to find that pylon.
He got his Tasteless Pylon to back up the Artosis Pylon. Now what puCK doesn't know, because he was busy dealing with his pylons, that this army is actually moving to the other side of the map. He did have an Observer, but I don't find this army terrifying. Yeah, there's a Disruptor.
Disruptors with no Stim.
I know. Yeah, but if the tanks siege up, there is still a tiny bit of potential here for Future. The Disruptor is actually being picked up by the Warp Prism, gets dropped on the low ground, and that is a juicy hit. -4 or 5 Marines. These Immortals are going to walk forward, and these tanks are in a lot of trouble.
That's game. puCK takes the first one.
Wow. What a weird build. Just opening up full walls off the Reaper as well. Absolutely no chance for the Terror player to get into the main base. Shows up into the main base with a Warp Prism. And I do think, guys, we're casting a completely different game. If that second siege tank, if it just sieges up.
If it was sieged up. And then suddenly, at least the Mortal Hardened Shields is set off. The Stalkers take 2 or so hits. And maybe a couple of them go down there. Maybe the Sentries don't survive, so they can't force field out the army there. There's so many things that change in that instant. But I have to say, I really love that that's how puCK gets started in this series, because I really do think that Future's the kind of player who they'd say, like, okay, This is it. This is the match that I was waiting for. The first match, that was just kind of the warm-up date.
Yeah.
This is the one that matters. And puCK, by just doing those kind of things so early on in the game, it forces Future to play his game rather than allowing him to kind of do his prepared strategy.
No, absolutely. I mean, it was very well done by puCK, but perhaps a bit unfortunate there for Future. I don't want to make the call 100% because I'm not 100% sure, but pretty damn sure that the tank was stuck behind the missile turret and that it couldn't go anywhere. And Future was probably waiting for it to be rallied to a certain place and then he would siege it up. But because it got stuck, he couldn't siege it up. That's at least what it looks like, because otherwise, why would the unsieged tank just kind of stand there? And it felt like it wanted to move and it couldn't really move. It was trapped. So unfortunate game for the young Terran. Excellent game by the veteran, our Protoss, because that's what puCK is, right? Even if he's still young himself. I mean, he's been around forever.
2011, 2010, yeah.
He's been all around the world. He participated in the tournaments in China. I think that was still his best tournament performance ever. I was there. that was maybe a tournament that he should have won, actually. It's a tournament that Hearthstone won back then. But the score was 1-1 between puCK and Hearthstone. And puCK was actually crushing Hearthstone in game 3 of the best of 5 it was. But then one disruptor of Cav blew up 7 disruptors of puCK, and it kind of took all momentum away. And Hearthstone ended up winning that tournament in the final against Snoot back then. But puCK was so good at the event. He had a very tough group, I think, with Special, Marine Lord, that kind of stuff. Snoot, and he just beat everyone. I was like, damn, puCK's on fire.
Yeah, I am a huge fan of watching puCK when he's in form, because when puCK is just sort of feeling himself, when he feels like, you know what, I'm super on fire today. I'm feeling really confident about my play. I'm having a lot of fun. That's a big thing. I honestly and earnestly believe that puCK can take almost anyone in the world on, at least for a map or two. He is really good when he's on form, and I think the big struggle for him has been less so, oh, you know, can I stay in form and all that stuff? It's really just, can I bring out the best version of myself today?
I do agree with you, and I'm definitely a puCK fan as well.
I know, I'm on the extreme end.
No, but yeah, I think you're a tiny bit extreme in a way that I think some of puCK's builds are absolutely fantastic, don't get me wrong, but I think there's always a little bit of gamble, as they would say, involved. And obviously, if the gamble pays off, puCK can look like a superstar because he can make all the sick plays. Yeah. But there are some scenarios where you kind of make decisions before you necessarily know what your opponent is going to do. And best case scenario, yeah, puCK can look phenomenal and like a star in those games. But that's why there's also a lot of games where he will fall flat on its face because certain builds don't work against certain openings.
I think even actually in a similar vein to what you're talking about, one of the reasons why sometimes you'll see puCK struggle at times is that when you have situations where it's like, okay, if I make play A, it's a safe play and I don't get any reward. If I make play B, there's like a large risk but a small reward. puCK will go for the large risk but small reward because he looks for every one of those edges, but that oftentimes does actually come back to bite him in the butt. So
this is gonna get weird, Robbie. So let's talk through real quick about what's happening. Normally, not too much happens, guys, in 1 minute and 15 seconds, but not while we're casting WCS and a challenger, okay? A lot of things are happening. Future is proxying his barracks. It's not that weird. He wants to make it seem like it's a crazy proxy. He wants to keep puCK in the dark. We can see that it's actually just kind of like a defensive proxy where he just wants to scare his opponent a little bit. But puCK already took 2 gases and proxied a pylon in the left top side of the map. So puCK decided all of this before he scouted the opening of Future, and this can get so weird right now.
And Future is not going for the SCV scout. He's actually sending his SCV to the bottom right-hand side, maybe looking for like a proxy robo or something that could potentially, or a gateway or like a max packs or something like that. And because he's not sending an SCV across the map, he's going to say, okay, I didn't really see anything. I'm not seeing any gateway units in, like, say, another 30 seconds or so. So you know what? Okay, you must have just gone for a good old 1-gate expand. The Reaper's going to make his way across the map, and then he's going to suddenly realize, oh, you didn't expand.
Is it going to make its way to the other side? Oh, it goes through the middle.
Yeah.
The Reaper goes through the middle. You know what the sad thing here, guys, is that Future is going to run into the natural and be like, ha, I got him. You know, got him right where I want him. Because he thinks that puCK was afraid to expand because he proxied his barracks. So Future might actually think that his mind game worked out here. But obviously, this was puCK's plan all along. puCK already sent that probe up way before he ever scouted. So that Stargate is going to be a lot quicker than I think Future is expecting it to be.
Okay, what is Future's reaction going to be when he gets over into the main base? Because just that Zealot is not going to be enough, and the Adept is having a hard time catching that Reaper. He does shade toward the low ground, but the second Reaper pops in. This is actually going to become problematic. There's no more gateway units on the way either, so he's really going to have a hard time nailing down either of these Reapers.
I bet he's super confused now. He's like, why haven't I seen anything yet?
Yeah.
There is a defensive Cyclone on the way. The Adept is going to chase down that Reaper. First blood for puCK there, if we don't count the workers, that is. How far along is that Cyclone, Ravi?
Oh, Cyclones take a long time to make, Roddy. And guess what?
No.
At Oracle's already making his way across the map. A Viking is on the way, but the barracks is going to be absolutely useless. There is no chance of a missile turret or anything. This Oracle already softening up one of the workers, and we're starting to see some of them getting picked off over here. He's having a hard time focus firing down the weakened workers because they were all stacked, but then he finishes them off, and that's already so much damage.
Yep. What I love here from puCK is that he doesn't try to save his Oracle. He knows that there were a lot of SCVs there, very low on HP. There a lot of mining time was lost already as well. And at one point, trying to fly it away, it's pointless, right? Because the lock-on is there anyway, so that Oracle will always go down. Just let it die, but take every single SCV with you that you can. Awesome start again for puCK. Man, puCK just kind of seems to have Future's numbers today.
All right, the Reaper is looking around for that proxy. Funny enough, he's barely going to miss it because it's up on the high ground, not on the low ground. Maybe he'll eventually scout over there. But with the second Oracle on the way and the fact that Future is not going to see that coming, he's just going to have to assume that there's a potential for it and stay at home to defend.
Yeah, Future's gonna need some magic. I mean, being down 7-8 workers, it's not the end of the world in this matchup, but it's just the fact that it feels so rough, right? He knows that he lost a lot of mining time. He needs to catch a break. He needs to somehow find these oracles in the middle of the map, get some double lock-on action going. He's
going to go for it because I think he has a general sense of where the proxy is based on where he scouted and didn't see it. And
this would be nice. This is kind of what Future needs. To the left, to the left.
Okay.
You want.
puCK is going to take a lot of damage here. He does lift up one of the Cyclones, which allows him to maybe pick off the second one.
Oh, and he saves the other one as well. That's so important. Now he can lock on the Phoenix.
Yeah, he's going to get that.
Well done by Future. Future strikes back. Rough start, but that's the victory he needed.
Okay, he's not going to actually go for the Stargate for now. And oh boy, the Zealot making his way across the map. This is actually such a clutch scout. He's going to probably lose the Zealot to the Cyclone, but he sees the SCVs are even being pulled. He's getting engaged in the middle of the map. He goes after the Cyclone. He loses his Oracle and doesn't get the Cyclone.
Doesn't get this. I mean, just so many things went down there, Robbie. It's like you can see how messy this game is becoming. I think both players are feeling it. I think it was a bit stubborn by Future to try to get more value.
He's not repairing the Cyclone.
Yeah, well,
he's doing it now.
He can land the Viking as well if he truly wants to. Oh, no bunker, by the way. Good force fields there by puCK. These Marines in a lot of trouble. There is still another healthy Cyclone. That's going to save the day for now. There's a tank on the way. Man, this game is so messy, but Future is absolutely getting back. Look at the worker count. Only down 3 workers at this point. So well done by the young man. I do think he was too greedy there with the Cyclones. Like, you got a Phoenix and an Oracle. Don't try to get more, man. Like, both of them were like on fire at that point.
Yeah, and puCK only just started mining from his 3rd gas geyser. He's taking his 4th. I mean, he's barely mined like 50 gas or 60 gas from his 3rd one. So we'll see what he's going to be able to do with the resources he's been mining. He's going for Blink, chrono boosting that out, finishing up some of his warp gates, and beginning as the next usual phase of a PvT, which is getting out some Blink Stalkers, putting some pressure on. I kind of feel like with Banshees and stuff coming out, this sort of turns into at least a closer to normal game than we've seen so far.
Yep. But it's kind of awkward for puCK because I feel with the style that puCK is playing, you do want to have another Nexus by now. Absolutely. He is taking all of his gases. Where's that bench here? Here it's
over the depths, yeah.
Sorry guys, I was looking at my own screen because there's a lot of little things happening. I was trying to take a look in the main base and the Liberator as well. But yeah, the Banshees will obviously always be able to keep puCK at home. And I was about to say, what I do feel though is important is that Future goes up to 3 bases. And now we do see that 3rd command center that he's building up in his main base. So he's not going to try to end things early. Hopefully he'll get some more upgrades than just 1-1 in this game. But I really think that Future has sort of turned it around.
Oh my god, I cannot believe that Stargate got another Oracle out. Future asking for a pause for a moment just to make sure everything is looking okay for him.
That's kind of funny as well, because there was an Oracle that just popped.
Yeah.
If the Cyclones don't lock there, they can lock on that Oracle, and it's an immediate pickoff. But
yeah. He goes up to the pylon literally at the absolute worst possible moment.
Yeah. I bet he was surprised as well to see that the Stargate was even building something. So how many
Yeah,
oracles have we had in this game?
a lot of Protoss players stopped that usage of the Stargate that's randomly proxied on the map a long time ago. And Oracle is really nice, though. If you can continuously just Revelation the army, you can keep an eye out on things. And hey, for that Banshee especially, that's so nice to be able to tag a Revelation on it, not have to worry about it running around with a cloak.
Yep, because there is a robo though, but obviously you want to get some other units out of your robos as well. Future is ready, as you guys can see. Hopefully puck will be ready soon as well. A lot of people just have the urge to alt-tap immediately, yeah? Or
you gotta change up your music and stuff.
He did say that there was a cat knocking on his door.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
A big cat wanted to come into his room.
His cat does love to absolutely, completely slaughter his practice and his ability to stream.
What kind of cat is it?
I don't know. I actually don't see it on stream very often, but I always hear about it.
So it's just an excuse for not practice.
Does he even have a cat? Is it just like the ultimate Scarlet play where you just find something to complain about?
So sick. Doesn't even have a cat.
Ooh, he got the Revelation on one Banshee, but the second Banshee comes in almost immediately afterwards, and well, there is the Observer popping out now.
That's a bit sloppy by Future. He does still have the Liberator, but he kind of wants to keep puck on his side of the map because Future obviously still sort of recovering early on. His economy is strong right now, guys, but it obviously means that his stack is a tiny bit delayed. He's not really working with the army yet that he would love to work with, but he's actually up in army supply as well. I mean, yeah, once Stim kicks in, Combat Shield kicks in, I mean, then I'd say weapons ready. Let's dance for Future. And I kind of like where it's going.
Oh, Stim seconds away from finishing. puCK is going to poke forward. He picks off a few units here and there. But if he overcommits even just a little bit, Stim is going to be also punishing. It looks like there's a couple of workers going down on puCK's side of the map. The Liberator picks off some workers. puCK does react and pull his workers away.
Oh, that's really good. I love that by Future. Pulling it back before the Stalkers are there. There's no point in letting it die. And this is super annoying. Future waited. He was very patient with that Lib until he saw the Stalkers. I don't know what this blink is by puCK.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a madman blink, that's what it is. Look at how massive Future's army feels compared to puCK is just blink Stalkers.
He's getting out the Disruptors now, but I mean, this is a very different game than last one where a Terran player with no Stim has a really hard time moving and splitting versus Disruptors. That's not going to be the case this game, so the Disruptors have a lot more to ask of.
I must say though, Warp Prisms with speed can always get some good hits off though, right? Like, it's almost impossible to always look at your army all the time as a Terran player. So there is a good chance that puCK can fly in from an awkward angle and still get one of these massive Purification Novas.
Absolutely.
And that could very well send him into the round of 8.
Yeah. Stalker's continuing to just poke around. I mean, this is kind of his key unit. This is the unit that I would say puCK made a name for himself off of back in the day. The Blink Stalker, so he's going to do his best to try and delay this army with some good micro, buy time for not only the Disruptor to come out, but actually a Colossus follow-up, just for some consistent damage out there.
Oh, Wool, this one needs to be good. I don't think Future knows about it
Oh my god, he does not notice! Oh, that was actually a pretty big hit. He gets a lot of the Marauders in the back. Stasis also buys some time and creates a little bit of a temporary force field there. The Disruptor is going to be off a cooldown soon enough.
Yeah, I think Future just panicked there. He's like, oh my god, like what is happening during all of this? The Liberator showed up again. Once again, was able to find 5 probes and maybe even a Stalker. Maybe both Stalkers? One?
Oh my god, puCK, he pulled away too soon.
Liberator. That's actually really sick.
Some of the rallied in units there for Future do get picked off of the third base. So that is a really nice denial of some mining to equalize some of the big damage he just took from that Disruptor hit. But now also second Colossus popping out now. Thermal Lance on the way. This is a very ballsy maneuver versus a lot of Blink Stalkers.
Absolutely. Oh man, it's so great. Does he even have vision of the army? Does he know where the army? Okay, he has one Marine. Sort of on the left. This is so risky, Future.
Oh my god, look at where puCK's army is. He's like hugging that wall almost. Oh no, puCK, you were so close to being so prepared. He's gonna have to recall for this.
Yes. This time, by the way, 2-2 upgrades already on the way for Future, so he does know what an armory is.
Oh, the Robotics Bay.
No Thermal Lance. Maybe one more Colossus that's about to pop as well. What is it going to be, puCK? He does have...
Goes after the pylons.
He doesn't have enough energy to recall into the main base, by the way.
Oh my god, he's just forced to engage on the other side of the map right now, and Future does still have a few units over there. It's not a lot, but it's enough to at least buy some time. He's immediately retreating those SCVs from the natural over to the main base, lifting up his third base. At the same time, puCK is also losing the entirety of his main base. The Nexus has gone down, the Robotics Bay, the Twilight Council soon to be, and even the Forge researching +2 weapons.
Yeah, I mean, this game is just madness at this point. 26 SCVs have gone down already.
Oh.
But I obviously like Future's army a lot more than I like puCK's army. But what puCK will have is still that Disruptor. Wait, he has no Warp Prism. He recalled somewhere. Okay, do the natural. He doesn't have a Warp Prism.
Okay, the Stalkers are going to try... No, I think Blink may have been on cooldown. He is retreating home. If he can catch some of those medevacs on the retreat, he may be able to snag a really big lead in this game. Both these players are actually pretty decently supply blocked now as well.
Yeah, no, I don't think that that's going to happen. And Future can just kind of chill here for a little bit, right? There's a good chance that puCK is going to try the same thing all over again. This Colossus, by the way, does not have thermal lens. That got cancelled.
Oh, there's going to be a sick flank setting up over here if puCK stays too far out on the map, and that's where he took his Nexus. So he has to stay out over here to defend. He's pulling up the ramp, but that means he is giving up that expansion location. Future's still going to try and fight this. He forces up those Liberators up on the high ground. The Colossus have fallen. It's just Stalkers left against Stim Bio. And ladies and gentlemen, I think I know how that story goes.
Yeah, that's just not going to be enough. A couple of Zealots are going to try to save the day, but the DPS of this Bio Ball, like I said in that previous best of 3 earlier today, sometimes it just gets a little too big for a couple of Zealots to truly have an impact. Really well played by Future, man. Very impressive. GG! After losing 8 or 9 SCVs against the very first Oracle, losing a lot of mining time as well, he stayed calm, composed, got it together, and eventually, off the back of some very good plays, I mean, what separates decent Terran players from really good ones is like stuff with that Liberator. It all looks so simple, but it's so easy to throw your Liberators away and be like, I'm getting some probes. But the fact that he sieges, unsieges, sieges, unsieges, he got so much value out of these little units here and there. Very well done.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just the lost mining time from that Liberator easily denied, you know, an additional like 5-6 Stalkers that could have been in some of those fights. Really, really awesome game. Very action-packed there. And once again, it's a little bit strange. That's definitely something neither one of those players were super prepared for. But we're going to get ready to move into game number 3 now. This is going to be it. The deciding match, the final date. We'll see who can actually come out on top. It looks like that map is going to be Kairos Junction.
Yep.
Okay.
Once again, I mean, the nerds love this map these days. We see it a lot. If we do want to be a little bit critical of puCK, I think we can ask ourselves, why didn't he go up to 3 bases faster? Like, what was he so afraid of? It almost felt that he was so worried about like the 2-base push all the time, just I guess Marine tank. And obviously if you open up with a Stargate, your blink is going to be a little bit later, if you want to go blink, that is. And maybe he just felt that if he would go up to 3 bases too quickly, he would die against like a Marine tank bunker push. But you don't want to be 4-gas, you know, 2-base for 7 minutes or something as a Protoss player.
He did see, for a little bit, he saw the SCVs being pulled as well as those Cyclones making their way across the map and stuff. So maybe he got scared by that. He didn't quite see maybe the SCVs being pulled back home, and then he just remained a little bit too cautious and slowly, finally built up the courage to take his 3rd base. I'm not 100% sure, but I definitely agree with you. Like, with us having the infinite vision that we have as observers, I do think it probably would have benefited him to take a faster 3rd.
No, I think if he would have just done that, I think it would have been very hard for Future. And Future would probably be forced to go for some sort of a 2-base all-in. Otherwise, he'd fall too far behind. But obviously, a lot of Terran players will be like, well, I have no idea what the Protoss is doing here, because Protoss was up like 8-9 workers early on.
Yeah.
Everything was going well. And suddenly, we're looking at like 49 probes against 51 SCVs, and there's 3 orbitals. It's like, all right, how did we end up here, you know? Well, what did Future kill? It's like, well, actually not much up to that point, right? It was just puCK perhaps playing a little scared, maybe the nerves getting to him a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously losing the Oracles, I think that was a real turning point in the game, right? The 2 Cyclones, because Future
even
really
the Phoenix,
needed that.
Even the Phoenix, remember that Liberator that kept coming back in and harassing repeatedly? If you have a Phoenix alive, it can actually deal with that or push it back. I mean, there's a lot of small little things that could have changed if the big disruptor hit hadn't happened on Future's army was pushing out. These guys have just got to, I guess, calm themselves down after game number 2 and move into game 3. It looks like Future is ready now.
Oh, man. What I really loved, because sometimes I feel like you can just see the panic in players as well. And that moment where Future was getting ready for his big attack, and suddenly that Disruptor came in and he stims the entire army away, but then he runs for it as a stasis trap. And it really felt like you were watching a little kid in a horror movie. He's like, oh no, how do I get out of here? And then so he just grabbed everything. He's like, I got to get the hell out of here right now. It's a bad neighborhood, my friends. I love that part.
Oh, yeah.
Good to see.
A beautifully set up little trap there, but Here we go, guys. It is going to be game number 3 here, tied up series 1-1. We've seen a lot of shenanigans, even fuCK throwing down his barracks in the last game on the low ground of where his third base normally goes, just to make it look a little bit more scary. puCK going for the proxy in the last game. I love the little star that fuCK's drawn with his SCV. I love when players do the little rally point pictures. puCK used to always do the rally point hearts, I remember that.
Yes,
always well known for that.
I tried as well, but I've never been able to draw very well, to be honest. Even in elementary school, one of my weakest things. Like, why did I start, Kev? And I was like, I have no idea.
You're artistic in other ways, Kev. You express yourself with graviton lift.
That's something I think I am quite advanced in, actually.
You could teach the class on that one.
Absolutely. I do not mind talking about phoenixes, lecturing about phoenixes. It's my second calling in life.
I'm looking forward to that class. So we do have the probe scouting around and sees the barracks, and it's probably from puCK a little bit of a sigh of relief, like, okay, I know what this looks like. I know what this usually leads into. And he's not grabbing his second gas or anything. He's sending his own probe to the low ground. This is going to be a more normal opening. Probably the most normal opening we've seen so far today.
No mind games this time, not fuCK proxying anything. This time puCK is not proxying anything either. I do think this in general is kind of a tricky map for Protoss. Obviously, the longer it goes, I think the better it gets, but I feel like there's a lot of very strong 2-base pushes. We often see the same scenario where Protoss tries to go up to 3 bases at 9 o'clock, and then Terran only shows up with a bunch of Marines and 2 tanks and maybe a Widow Mine or 2. And that fight is often game deciding, right?
Yeah.
If Terran gets the Nexus, Terran is most likely going to win, and if they don't, well, then more often than not, Protoss is going to win. Of course, with puCK, games don't necessarily play out like that, but like I said, it wouldn't be the first time we see a game play out like that.
All right, Reaper going to chase down this probe, and probe is just going to sacrifice its life to him. Make sure there's nothing else following that up. Just tries to go for something a little bit tricky there. And we're going to see that Adept getting chrono boosted out to help deal with this Reaper. And there's nothing out on the map just yet. Even the SCV actually adding in a little bit of DPS there. Maybe picking away at one of those probes. It's already pretty low on hit points. It is so close to going down. Oh, the Reaper went the wrong way around the gas geyser, so he has to retreat on out of there. That's still a low health probe. The shields will start regenning. He's trying to hit it with the SCV.
Double teaming over here. Like, man, life is not fair, is it? And this Adept is like, what are I gonna do? Who do I focus on?
Oh my god, I cannot believe that SCV is still alive.
But I feel like you can see it. Well,
Pop.
it's not alive anymore.
Yeah.
Probe is like, first blood.
You know what? I actually really like this because I think fuCK is a player that I really think does hit his stride a lot of the time in the early game micro. And same thing with just puCK throughout the game. So watching these two guys interact in the early game is just a lot of fun. It's not always like, oh, there's going to be game-deciding micro guys, but it's just a really fun, entertaining time.
We saw in the TvZ, right, on Thunderbird, how much of an impact a single Reaper can have. Reapers are really important in this matchup as well. I mean, I personally, as a Protoss player, I hate having this Reaper. Like, this is something that if you pick it off, you know that you can just chill until like 410, 420, at least into the game. Unless maybe there's 2 Hellions driving into the natural, but you were like, so what, I'll pick those up as well. But as long as that Reaper is around, you gotta be a little cautious. Now, of course, with the Sim City that puCK went for, he does make his life a little bit easier. We've got our Blink Tech.
Ooh, gets the Reaper, that's nice.
Blink Tech on the way, by the way. So.
Blink Tech, and you were also calling this earlier, the Widow Mine drop going to be coming out as well. We got 2 Widow Mines already finished up, the medevac about halfway done. No more Widow Mines being produced after that, so it's probably just going to be the 2 Widow Mines, while maybe the Marines try and poke in around some other angle or something.
Yeah, maybe 2 mines, 4 Marines. That could be something, right?
I always like it when we see that, but I feel like more and more Terran players are they just do 2 mines.
Yeah. Maybe they're a bit too paranoid from taking damage at home. It doesn't make sense.
No, the second mine's in the middle.
Out in the map, yeah.
Ready to catch an Oracle or something.
Yep, or a hallucinated Phoenix cap. Almost got that one. Well, there's our Raven, and the Raven obviously in general screams a big 2-base push with that good old anti-armor missile. That we know can be very, very effective against Zealots. Double Forge, so most likely charge as a follow-up here. Low gas style. I think fuCK is really good against this style, man. I've played quite a few games against fuCK. I play just like puCK does over here. Oh, yes, react to the mines.
puCK!
No!
Oh boy.
No.
How big are the hits? Oh, those are big hits. 9 workers, and the Widow Mines get out alive. And not just that, they're actually pretty healthy, too.
Disaster. Straight up disaster. With this opening of puCK, I mean, obviously there's a chance you take some damage, but you're always... Oh, maybe it gets the matter of fact, it even takes up, but Blink is just not ready yet. 4 seconds.
Oh,
1 second.
Future.
Oh my goodness. Okay, puCK just can't catch a break.
That is real. Or can't? No, okay. Future is going to back off. That is really tough because this style that puCK is going for, you're saying the low gas style, you're getting double forge, you're seeing that he's not even able to afford +1 armor right now. Or actually, he can do it, but is that a mistake that he doesn't have it up yet?
No,
I guess he wanted to start up.
No, he's just broke.
He wants to start up a really fast tempo archive.
Oh my goodness, the Widow Mines come back. This time he does pull the probes, but if the Mines just fire at even a StarCraft would be... Okay, 1 probe, 2nd probe.
Oh, he knows I was going to hit the gas. Oh!
The probe.
Okay. Right, it was a nice attempt at getting some more damage.
But it was still overall really, really successful, of course, because that first drop was massive. Scan goes down, Future knows where the expand is. Templar Archives already being wiped in.
So I think this is my thought on this, and I'm prepared to be proven wrong. But because you take so much damage, usually when you're going for the double forge style, it's about a raw number of lots of gateway units. If your economy gets hit really hard, that makes that strategy a lot harder to pull off. So versus something like a Templar Archives, you can try and rely on really good micro and getting some good storms off. It maybe allows you to counteract the economic damage you took.
Yeah, I don't know if this was his plan all along. There is maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, right? Certain Protoss players just like to go into Storm a lot quicker. This scan is on the money, guys. It sees all the forges, it sees the Templar Archives as well, and that's the point that Future knows, like, hey, that means that my army is a lot bigger than your army, isn't it? And puCK is like, well, yeah, it would be really nice if we could just stay at home. Future's like, nope, I want to be advancing into the quarterfinals of WCS NA Challenger, and I'm looking at a Terran army, Ravi, that I just don't see failing here. They're on a mission, and I don't think they're going to fill their mission.
Force fields get thrown down at the last second, but the Widow Mines and a lot of the Marines still make their way through. Anti-armor missile thrown on the Stalkers, so they are not going to want to take a fight for a while. The Widow Mines also zone out any of the Zealots that still don't have charge, by the way. It's still another 20, 30 seconds away from finishing. A couple of gateways starting to go down, and we are just seeing that Future is completely controlling the zoning area of that natural expansion. Storm is now finished, and that is the money Storm he was looking for. Is it going to turn out to be enough?
I don't know. 9 probes have already gone down, but I have no idea where that storm came from. It just suddenly hit. And then quite a few buy units did go down. There are more and more Terran forces streaming to the other side of the map, though.
Yeah.
I just don't really like Archons in these numbers. It feels like they can never really get the damage done. A defensive blink there by puCK.
Those Widow Mines, they're going to go off on the Stalkers, taking off all the shields. And with all the reinforcements coming in, he's no longer attacking that third and base Nexus. And yes, these Stalkers are fighting very low health bio, but it's not going to be enough. GG! Future advances on to the playoffs.
That's the Future I know. That is the Future I know, and I think that's the Future you love to hype up as well. He is a really good player, guys, and all that he needs is a successful start. He gets that Widow Mine drop at that point. Like, you don't want to call it because you want to hope for a miracle. But I know how these games play out. It's over. The map is kind of small. That's a lot of damage. The Future is a really good Terran player with great micro, who's got a very nice little mix between tanks and mines as well. The scan is perfect. He knows when to move out. It's the drop that won him the game because at that point, puCK, there's very, very little that puCK can do there. And of course, people will be like, well, puCK is too greedy, you know, double forge and storm and 3 bases.
You have to take a risk to come back.
Exactly. Like, he took too much damage. Like, you can maybe cancel your upgrades, but are those 200 resources going to make the difference? He already has the forges there anyway. It's just... You can't take that much damage against the first mine drop. And your Stalkers, obviously, they need to be out on the map, right? The Stalkers need to be on the other side of the map. They need to pick off a Marine, pick off another Marine, maybe get some damage on the Medevac or the Raven. Anything he can do to slow it down and get more Zealots at home, because you're not supposed to be dying with Zealot charge on the way. You're supposed to engage that army with like 20 Zealots with charge, Chadlots, as Nathanius would call them, and then see what happens, right? But well done by Future, though. I do think he deserves it.
Yeah, big congrats. He's able to snipe off puCK once again. The last time he was able to beat him, I think, was Cheesadelphia in the grand finals. And that's going to earn him that spot in the playoffs. And, of course, for the NA players, I want to remind you guys that not only is it the money, the WCS points and everything, but the top 4 players also do get that seed in WCS Summer. And I always like to say, like, this is, I think, for the WCS events that are happening over in Ukraine, over in Europe, it's a lot less likely that these NA players would actually get to travel to the Ukraine if they don't get one of those top 4 spots. So this is going to mean a lot to a player like Future, who's still got a long and bright future ahead of him, no pun intended. So I think this is going to be a really, really big win for him. Can't wait to see how he does because I know he's had a really, really tough draw in a lot of these Challenger seasons. But congratulations again, future.
Congrats, you got Neep in the quarterfinals. No, I don't know.
There's a chance of that because of how the WCS points and stuff work.
No, doesn't Future have at least some points?
So I believe, actually, you know, I'm not even going to say this because I'm not 100% sure about it. I believe that it's kind of just taken as not just like #1 seed versus number 8.
I think there's like couples,
They make 2 groups. Yeah. They say like, here are the top 4 players in WCS points and here's the bottom 4. And I think that Future would fit in the bottom 4 because he's had a really rough time in these challenges. Like he's proven himself time and time again outside of Challenger.
But the best thing for Future is that he was in a group with Scarlet, so he can get Scarlet. So then it's like, 1 out of 3 scenarios, you're going to get Neep, and that's going to be very tough. But the other 2 group winners, remind me real quick in NA.
No?
I have to figure it out myself?
I don't remember.
Okay, well, we can figure this out together. We casted all these days. Who won last week? Damn it. We had Terrence winning, no? Didn't we have Terran winning?
I'm just gonna let you do this.
Oh my goodness, what is happening? Okay, in the
part of me is just enjoying the fact that for some reason this weekend you're like super power of remembering literally every single game of StarCraft ever seems to have receded for the moment. It's like you found some kryptonite somewhere in the studio.
It has. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that I wake up every morning at 4 a.m. to do this
really?
broadcast.
Really? That's so interesting.
Like my brain is a little slower.
I wonder why you would do that.
So Rob played in the first playday, right? And my boy
oh my God, we're doing this. Production, can you just tell us?
I need to figure it out.
Are you gonna look this up on your
Absolutely.
phone? You're gonna look this.
I want to see the potential opponents.
While he does that, I'm gonna remind you guys that the playoffs are gonna be happening next weekend. On Saturday, it's gonna be the European playoffs. That's probably gonna be starting sometime around 3 or 4 a.m. Pacific. If you're in Europe, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to do the time zone conversion yourself. And the North American playoffs are happening on Sunday, exactly a week from today. And those actually start later than our usual time. That's gonna be sometime around like 11 or 12 p.m. Pacific.
All right. So the other 2, I actually think are doable opponents for Future. I'm not saying that he's the favorite, but I think very doable. The first one is TLO. He won Group A.
Yes.
Dr. Dario. I mean, I'm not thinking of a European, but I'm casting WCS and a Challenger, okay?
Okay.
And the second one was our Protoss from San Diego, Australia, winning that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So Australia, I think Australia's a really, really tough opponent. I think Future can totally beat him, but Australia is, I would actually put him as like the 3rd best North American player right now. I say North America, I know people will talk about special and stuff. The North American Challenger players, yeah.
Well, we're going to figure it out, right? As soon as the brackets are up, you know, just keep a close eye on all the social medias that StarCraft Esports has to offer. Very excited for it. Can't wait to see what happens next week. And I think we had a pretty fun weekend overall with a lot of funny and memey games. So hopefully you guys had fun watching as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm really happy that today's NA group actually lived up to all the hype I was giving. But, ladies and gentlemen, we'll hope to see you next week. One last shout-out to our wonderful observer, Awesome Sauce. He is crazy awesome, as his name implies. Go check him out, because he has been observing all of these different WCS Studio broadcast events, some WCS Winter, WCS Challenger, etc. With that being said, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. Go check out some of the other awesome StarCraft out there, and we'll see you next time.